live down in Florida in Key West, and we are going to go, and I hope all of you are going to come. But when the sculpture finally gets figured, you know, I've asked for it to be larger than life size.
No.
So, you know, they're working on that as we speak. Yeah. And they told me that they would really like it to be a little more beautiful and fresh than the look I had coming out. I said, no, I want that tired, weathered look. We earned it, and that's what it's going to be. So that's going to be maybe a year from now when that statue gets installed, and then we're going to have a big old party in Key West, and I hope all of you can make it. We'll let you know way in advance. Yeah. You know, I guess I could speak for all of us. When you pursue something and achieve something, you have every right. Especially, I was listening to NPR one day, and I missed the first part of the story. But someone was talking about, the interviewer and someone was talking about why this person has held on to their achievement for a long time. And he said it's because it was so hard to do. So it's not that I am fixated on the triumph of it, the ego of it, what's come of it, you know, the accolades or the opportunities. It's that, thank you. It's that it was such an authentic quest that lived in my soul, and it was so hard to do over such a long time, at some points life endangering. And what came of the journey, the friendships, the science, and the evolution of knowledge of what's out there, the inspiration. And I don't say this with any sort of big ego, but around the world, you know, what people have felt for their own dreams has filled my heart over the last 5 years. And in some ways, I don't know if you ever saw it, but when Steve Jobs announced the iPhone, which I want to say was 2007, does that sound about right? Well, that, of course, was a viral video that went worldwide when he spoke in front of the Apple people, you know, who had worked on it. But he stepped off stage afterwards, and someone was following him with a little beta cam just to do internal Apple work for it. And he was with one of his head engineers, and he said to him, "Is it the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life?" And the other guy welled up with tears and said, "It's like candy. It's like eye candy, Steve. Congratulations." And Steve went like this, "You know what I better do? I better put this away and start dreaming of the next eye candy." And I don't want to be stuck on, as I said, the ego part. I did it. We did it. There's so much more to do. And not just for me and my personal dreams, but I want to be immersed in the Me Too movement and somehow give more and more voice to that crowd, that large epidemic crowd, to have a place where they're going to be respected. There's just a lot of work. I just turned 69. I feel lucky to be vital and still have plenty of physical and intellectual energy for the next 15, 20 years. But today's the 5th anniversary of something that I had to reach down and touch every fiber of my potential for. And that's what I'm interested in. Whatever the next things are, Everwalk's part of it, my friendships are part of it, the Me Too movement's part of it. I want to perform on stage and bring this story to life in a dramatic storytelling way and be known as one of the better storytellers of our time. I may not get there in any of these ways, but I want to tap down always and remember what the Cuba swim was to me, which was never, ever freaking give up. So, I look around, and there are just so many of you who are front and center. Kathy, every time, not only came to Key West, but when I came back, literally within hours of failing, she would say, right now, let's get in the studio. I want to look at that body. I want to look at that spirit, and made the most, you know, compelling, poignant portraits of my whole life I can have and look to. And I thank you, my friend, for that. There were people, of course, right on the boat. Allison, and everybody's heard the story over and over, but sometimes a friend who isn't even that close in the inner circle at that time, you can have a connection. And that night, with a whipping wind, grown men on our boat afraid that we might perish, asking us to close it up and get back to Key West. Allison, when Bonnie had to go take care of business and find out what we were doing and how we were doing it, knelt down and said, come here, Diana, come here, come here. She said, would you like to breathe? Do you want to do some breathing? And she was like this giant blonde Norse goddess. I was looking up and I said, I really do. I really do. She said, come on now, let's talk. 1, that's good, that's good. Can we get to, do you want to try to get to 20? I do. And we got to hundreds and hundreds before it was all settled down. Lois Ann was on Bonnie's team. Lois Ann, my good friend for many years, threw fundraisers in Northern California to try to get us a few dollars to keep our swim going. And you know, these are the things that you just remember all your days. Lisa, my sister, who never was in my swimming life when I was younger, and now in my 60s, to breathe over and see that curly hair over there, my sister rooting me on, you don't forget it, and I won't forget it. Candace, I don't know where to start. I've known Candace since we were both 25 years old. We fell madly in love. I saw Candace on a street corner. I made my way through thousands of people, thousands on a Friday afternoon in spring in New York City, all flocking to the Hamptons and the subway, and I made my way over and I said in the most suave way I could, say, I'm going to the finals of Yvonne Goolagong and Chris Evert in Madison Square Garden. Would you like to go? She said, Diana, I'm the editor of Women's Sports Magazine. We invited you to go.
That's funny.
But starting way back in this story, in this quest, partly it was athlete ego, do something nobody on earth has done before. The best men, women, fast, strong, young swimmers in the world had tried this swim. It's the Mount Everest of the Earth's oceans. And I tried it first when I was 28 years old, Candace the same age, and now, after 5 swims across that epic ocean, Candace is the only one who was on all 5.
I'm alive! I'm still alive!
And Candace refuses to sing it tonight, but I'm going to ask you, it's only 2 lines. I always said, in the end, if we really see the shore that close, will you come up to the boat and sing? And she did. For the 44 of us, me in the water, the shark divers in the water, When You Wish Upon a Star. So it goes. Can you help me? When you wish upon a star. That's right, try.
There's no difference who you are when you wish upon a star. Your dreams come true. Well, now that I'm up here, well, I just want to say that the reason this is timeless is because, well, have to understand the first time I met Diana was way back in the 70s, and I read about her in a magazine. She was so incredibly aspirational. It's like she she trained, 12 hours a day. She never had time to eat. She ran this way, that way. She was coaching this, doing that. She learned a vocabulary word every day. That was her goal. And she had the word strung across the pictures in the magazine of her room, And I thought, wow, me, I'm from Southern California. I have no ambitions. This was the most, this woman was aspiring. And so I was entranced. And as I followed her throughout her dream, it was an impossible dream. In the 70s, that's all anybody ever said about it. They go, oh, that's impossible. So because I knew Diana, and I thought, if you only knew Diana, you'd know that it was possible, right? So that's the reason I stuck with it all those years. When she made it, I was full of joy. When you love somebody and they achieves their dream, you've got to be happy. But I have to say that the biggest feeling I had was after relief, and she was still alive, was I felt justified. And maybe Bonnie can understand, justified in all those years, all those decisions I made, and people said, really? You want to go spend your only vacation your entire year doing that? Yeah, of course. I never doubted it for a minute, but it was often thought to be kind of nutty. Because why? It was impossible. So, thank you, Diana, for confirming my highest hopes, which is that anything is possible. And that's where you should start, with a beginner's mind. And as I'm about 5 months away from retirement, and I look back, I've got 5 years of feeling like a new beginning. Anything is possible, no matter how old I am, no matter what. It's a gift, and I thank you very much. And thanks to Bonnie for making it all possible. You did.
Looking around, such unwavering support. Julie Milligan and Tori and Tony and Gail, Marcia, Jackie and Maggie, Shannon and Tracy coming to Key West time after time, Tess and Jane just getting to know you, and you two immersing yourself in the hope of it all, the strength of it all. Nina, I can never and will never forget how many hours were we from shore. Hours, right? It was daylight. From shore?
Yeah.
Was it that far out?
Yeah.
17 hours to go. I come in for the feeding. I'm treading water, and Bonnie says, "Look around." And your eyes are a little funny. No,
17 hours was the first trip in the hurricane.
No, where you were asking the captain for the life jackets. Where are they?
That's right.
She wasn't asking, she was just getting
She was
them.
getting the life jackets. No, but how far were we from shore when you came out with Tim?
Probably half a day. Like 6 hours.
Anyway, your eyes get blurry, you don't see so well anymore. And Bonnie said, "Look around." And I looked around and I saw Tim couldn't be here today, he has a sick dog. I saw his dreadlocks, and I saw Nina. And, you've always been there, Nina. It just doesn't matter. We were partners, and now we're family. And you've always been there. I'll never forget seeing you on that boat.
It always happens though.
Before I get to Bonnie, there are two people on the boat today who you don't know, because I'm just getting to know them myself. But it seemed like the right thing. Nancy and Mark are here. Nancy's a big walker. We're walking together now. They're my neighbors. I'm getting to know them. A few weeks ago, I got to their house for dinner, and their very handsome and charming 20-year-old son, Harry, joined us. Kind of a light of life, really. And a month ago, he was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting. And so Nancy and Mark, I invited them to come today because they're grieving unspeakably. And I thought maybe if they were with us, feeling what we feel on a day like this, and maybe looking out at that horizon and finding some hope in it, that maybe it would be a good day for you too. So our hearts are with you, Nancy. You know, forgive me if I don't mention every single individual, but I'm looking around. I know you're all here today because you felt something and you were with me on it. Thank you. But let me say that I've tried to find the words. I've tried to say it with poetry and with humor. But you just picture, if you're here breathing this way, not thousands of times, not hundreds of thousands of times, but millions of times, for 12 hours on Tuesday, and then 14 hours on Thursday, and then 16 hours on Saturday, and then compound that. There's no sport that requires this sort of grueling, lonely hours. You combine that, and then you go out and you swim across that epic ocean, and you almost die with the box jellyfish. And every time you look to the left, there's Bonnie. Every time you look there, she's standing there. She doesn't take her eyes off you. She commands what's needed next. She becomes the leader of the expedition. And we went, even when we failed, and wrote in permanent ink on our bodies, Ishin Denshin, meaning one heart, one mind. And it doesn't matter what we do or don't do, Bonnie. You were the soul of the expedition, and you are part of my soul. Thank you for everything you did.
Well, first of all, thank you all for coming to celebrate this day. I guess that will go down in infamy. And the good news is you all look really good. The only people that look different are the ones that were under 8 5 years ago. Candace, whatever you did say about Diana are truth for me also, but I'm going to tell you guys the other side. The first time I went to Diana's apartment in New York, it was a fabulous apartment. Walked in the kitchen, opened it up. I said, "What is this?" She said, "It's Arm & Hammer. What's that called? Baking soda." And I said, "And what's it going to do?" She said, "It airs the refrigerator with a nice smell." I said, "Diana, you have to open that box in order for it to work." She didn't know there was another bathroom in her apartment. She never saw it. It was just filled with boxes. So I think that there is a lot of good. And she tells, and I do believe, because she spent so much time underwater throughout her life, is the reason she talks so much now. But it's all good. It's all good. You continue to be my inspiration. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to say anything? Any words at all? Lisa, come up here. This is my sister Lisa, everybody. And by the way, David, that's David Wayne right there. Lisa and David are a partnership now. And David, I'm going to use a phrase that Obama used in a very, very eloquent way. When the kids went to Tallahassee, he said, "We've been waiting for you." Well, our family has been waiting for you.
obviously, I'm the one who has known Diana the longest. Since she was 5 years old, I was born. And, you know, it was a very cute baby, really. I don't know if all of you understand. We had a little difficult upbringing. A lot of love, but a lot of drama, to put it bluntly. And Diana, you were the only force in my life growing up that gave me stability, that gave me an understanding that I was important. Even during games of fun that she would, you know, play tricks on me and, you know, make me wonder. Some of the jokes were a little strange. But you all know Diana. But
Well,
over,
can I fill in? We played a game called Torture. This is how torture goes. You have a hat. And all 3 siblings write down 5 tortures on a little piece
I was
of
the
paper,
baby.
and you throw them in. You kids are gonna love this. And then
Don't do this.
you pick out the torture, and even if it's yours, if you want respect from your siblings, you do it. Lisa would always get the one that says you stand 10 paces from the bookcase, lower your head, and run as fast as I can into it. And she would say, I don't want to do this. We'd say, we can't respect you.
even with all of that said, regardless of trauma, I'm still with the therapist over. The moments that I remember the most is Diana's tenacity to set a goal and create a life that led her to where she was with the swim 5 years ago. Because we unfortunately had parents, I think, who had good intention but just couldn't follow through. Diana followed through. I would sometimes go with her early in the morning, 2 hours before school. I don't know what I was doing. I was playing on the soccer field and whatever, and doing homework. Diana was swimming, showing me the commitment paid off.